Congressman Khanna, a Democrat. He serves on the Oversight Committee, one of the multiple House panels investigating the president. Congressman, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me on, Wolf.
So the acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker, has agreed to testify voluntarily. He says he can't answer certain questions, citing privileged conversations he's had with the president. And now it looks like Jerry Nadler has backed down a bit in saying, come and testify. We'll talk about subpoenas down the road. Do you think that the chairman of this committee, Jerry Nadler, perhaps overplayed his hand?
I do not. I think he needs to come and answer the question, and he needs to understand settled law. Nixon invoked executive privilege, and this went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said you can't invoke executive privilege when there's a criminal investigation. This concerns a criminal investigation. This is not Whitaker talking to the president about Syria or some sensitive information. Fine, he can invoke executive privilege for that, but he should answer whether the president tried to obstruct justice.
But does this give Whitaker, and I know the Democrats and Republicans would like to have him answer a lot of questions, does it give him an opportunity, an excuse to not show up tomorrow?
No, I think he's going to come. He is going to come, and he's going to look awful if he tries to duck and say that he's going for executive privilege when that's not the law. So the question is whether he's going to be transparent. And no one is out to score points. They just want to know what happened.
If he doesn't answer those questions tomorrow, cites executive privilege, private conversations that he's had with the president, will Jerry Nadler, the committee chairman, immediately on the scene tomorrow issue a subpoena?
I think he should, and I think we should take it to court. But what Whitaker is trying to do, as you've alluded to, is run out the clock. He wants to get Barr in and then hope that the focus doesn't remain on him. But the American people deserve to know what conversations he had with the president about law enforcement. No one wants the confidential conversations about national security or economic policy.
Because Whitaker said he's not showing up if there's any threat of a subpoena if he doesn't answer certain questions tomorrow. So he potentially, and he wrote a long letter to Jerry Nadler through his aide on that point. He has an excuse if he doesn't want to show up tomorrow.
I think it would look awful. It would look like he's trying to hide, that he doesn't want to be transparent. I mean, the American people deserve to know whether the president told him to shut down the Southern District of New York prosecution. The American people deserve to know whether the president told him to shut down the Mueller investigation. These are simple questions he should answer.
Because Nadler could have easily said, we're not going to issue any subpoenas tomorrow. If you don't answer questions, you can leave. But immediately after the hearing, we're going to go issue some subpoenas.
Well, the problem with that is Whitaker is trying to run out the clock, and the president hasn't invoked executive privilege because he wants this to delay, but no one is going to outlast Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler is going to be persistent, and we're going to go after Whitaker, even if Whitaker is not in the news, for some simple answers as to what happened.
So where do you think all this is heading right now? Because you guys, and you're now in the House Oversight Committee, right. You've got a lot of investigations of the Trump administration you want to go through. Where is it heading?
Well, here's the thing. It's not personal to the president. The president keeps making it as if someone is out to get him. This is about basic conflicts of interest. It goes back to the 1920s when there was the Teapot Dome scandal, and Harding had the administration, an official who was accused of bribery. And the Congress said, we need to know what people's taxes are. Do they have financial conflicts of interest? What we want to know is, does the president and administration officials, do they have financial conflicts of interest overseas?
This is what the president tweeted today, and I'll put it up on the screen, Congressman. The Dems and their committees are going nuts. The Republicans never did this to President Obama. There would be no time left to run government. How do you respond?
Look, the president has never been in elective office before. I'm sure when he was a billionaire in the private sector, he was used to getting his way. But we have a separation of government, of separation of powers, and we have a duty of accountability. And it's not personal. Here's the basic questions the American people want to know. Was his tax policy influenced by his financial interests? Is his policy to Russia influenced by his overseas interests? Is his policy in Saudi Arabia influenced by business dealings? Those are fair questions. It's not personal. There's not some effort to get the president. There's an effort to have transparency.
And the fact that he's now, we're told, furious that Adam Schiff and the House Intelligence Committee have hired former National Security Council officials to come work as congressional staffers investigating all of this on the committee. Your reaction?
Well, again, it's the president not understanding how Washington works. The president's hired a lot of former House officials to work for him, so he should be allowed to hire former House aides, but the House can't hire former White House aides. That's just unreasonable. Here's the thing, Wolf, you've been around Washington a long time. It's much better for the president just to get the information out, even if there's something embarrassing. By him hunkering down, blaming the investigators, he's actually hurting his case. If I were him, I would say just disclose everything, get it out, and let people decide.
Congressman Khanna, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back. Appreciate it.
Thanks.